This lecture we will study about forms. Okay, so how a form look like? Okay, form is basically like it has a label field. Okay, and then an input field. Okay, like it has a label of name and it has an input field and first name label, and then an input box, then a label of last name, then input box, then age label, then a input box. Okay, so these are the forms. Okay, we'll start with a form tag. Okay, we'll start with a form tag. Okay, then we'll use a label. Okay, when we use label, always use for. Okay, always use a for and give it a name. Okay, here we'll use first name. Okay. So you can give this name according to your label. Okay, you can give any name you want, but I've taken the first name label, so I've given the for as f name. Okay, so we will add a line break here. Because this is an inline element. Okay, so we are adding a line break for keeping the layout cleaner. Okay, then we'll take a input box. Okay, then we'll write as input type equals to text. This means that we can write this is an input type. Okay, here we have to mention always, it is a good practice to always mention id. Okay, suppose I'm giving id as f name. Okay, then a name property is also there. Okay, we'll give a, suppose we are not giving right now. Okay, we'll just save it just like this. Okay, we have given a label, a first name, and then an input type, and we have given a id. Okay, so suppose here we'll copy the path. Okay, we'll enter it. Okay, now we'll open it in our localhost. Okay, we'll open it on our localhost. See, localhost, the folder name, and then the file name. Okay, so here, see, first name is our label, and this is the input box. Here we can write anything. Okay, and then you can also use like when we some now, this is for just testing purposes. When we build a like real project, okay, we have to submit this first name, we have to submit the information of the form. Okay, like to a server. Okay, so we'll use, like, we can use a button. Can use a button. Okay, you can use a button also. Then we'll press submit. Okay, now it is not here, it is not happening anything, it will not happen anything. But when we'll add the functionality, the input data that is pressed here, okay, that is inputted here, will submit to that particular server. Okay, so for that we have to give a name property to input well tag. Okay, here we'll give the same uh, name to which we have given to the label for. Okay, this for property we have given the f name, So the same name will be given to this. So we can easily target. If we will not give the same name, it will not target this label. Okay. So for when we'll submit to the server, okay, we have to use this name and for it is compulsory to use. Okay. Now we are not submitting if anything. Okay. It is just for testing purposes. We'll see no difference will be there. Okay. Same thing. Suppose we are adding one more label. ID of the name and see we are changing the name and the label for okay we are giving the same value okay now we'll save it okay see here I have not added a line break so this looks ugly okay we'll add a line break. Line break. Okay. Then we input something and when we click on submit the information will be sent to a server okay this is done when we add a action property here okay here we'll give the path okay here we'll give the path to that file where this information will be submitted okay on submitting we will mention a like we'll mention action page.php okay we have to write a server side code okay and we are not writing this okay we'll show you but we are not writing it here okay so we'll send this information send this info that particular page this page action page.php to to the server it is a server side code php is a server side code okay so we'll refresh it no changes there okay we can also change the input type to submit or like we can also use submit okay here we haven't written anything just we have written input type equals to submit so it has taken automatically the submit button okay three types of input types are there one is radio also okay I'll show you the radio type okay create another form here we'll remove this dimension we'll remove we'll give it a ID will give gender give it name of gender label here we can transform it to radio okay give it a gender name. Okay, like this, you can mention radio buttons. Okay, name equals to male. I'll give want to target like here's a label here. Okay, here we'll give this also copy here, paste here. This radio ID equals to we can give the ID of email and name should be we have to give a ID. We have given input type equals to radio, ID equals to mail, and name equals to mail. Okay, then we have to change. Give it a mail. We give it a mail for name will be equal for and name will be mail. Okay, then ID change it to email. And also change it to email. Okay, now we'll save it and now we'll refresh it. See here a label is coming, then radio button is coming. We can reset. Okay, see here we can remove our BR. Okay, it will create. Okay, here we have given mail. First we have given a label, then we have created an input radio button. Okay, then we have mentioned a label again, then we have again input a radio button, then a label. Okay, so you can also select it and deselect it. So this is there are three types of input type. One is text, one is submit, and one is radio button. Okay, radio. Next, we want to know about that action. Okay, we'll show you this. Okay. Here, see, form action equals to it is going to this page, action page.php. If you click the submit button, the form data will be sent to a page called action page.php. Suppose we are writing any name. Okay, okay. Suppose we are writing this name. Okay, when we'll submit it, see our f name equals to Shabir, and L name equals to Alam. Where is this f name coming from? Okay, this is the label. Okay, label and name. If we will not give this label name, okay, suppose we will refresh it and we'll replace the name of this. Okay, okay. Suppose we are mentioning, we'll run it. Okay, suppose we are mentioning first name as John and last name as Dave. but here we have removed the label name property from this label. Okay, first name input value here. Okay, so we'll not able to see this John. Okay, when we'll submit, it will be, see, only last name equals to do. Here it is showing because we haven't mentioned any name. Okay, so this is the importance of name. Okay, we'll not able to send the required information to the server. Okay, so here it is used as form action equals to, and this is a file which we write in the backend side. Okay, here we can also give a target. Okay, as a parent top. Okay, like parent top or self. If we'll submit it as blank, okay, it will open in a new browser. Okay, we have discussed it previous also. Will when we'll use a self, then it will be opened in this same in same frame, in this frame only. Okay, see, okay, it is opening on in the same frame only. When we'll use a blank, then it will be opened in a new window. Okay, two more are there. Parent, one is parent and one is top. Okay, it is opened in a parent frame. Here we don't have nested frames. Okay, so I cannot explain you here. When there is um, some advanced project, their nested frames are there. Okay, there you can see the difference. Okay, see, here it is opened in a parent frame. Okay, this is a parent window. Okay, suppose we'll use top. Okay, in top we'll use top target, where then it is opened in a whole browser, whole window. Okay, it will open in a whole window. Okay, so these four targets are will be available. Okay, then we can also give a method. Okay, this method equal, two methods are there. One is get and one is post. Okay, this is required when we submit the some data. Okay, suppose we are submitting this data. Okay, and give we have given the method equals to get. Okay, keep an eye in this URL. Okay, when we'll submit this. Okay, keep an eye in this URL. Okay, see, when we are submitting, our if name and L name is showing here. Okay, in get method we don't have a privacy. Okay, the values we are entering here, it is shown in the URL, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. When we want to do some transaction, okay, we don't want to show our password. Okay, for that case we use a post method. Okay, here when we have used method equals to post. Okay, so when we submit, see, here we don't see that information like we used to see in our get method. Okay, so uh, this encrypts our method post encrypts our data. Okay, when we use get, see, here is it is get is better for non-secure data like query strings in Google. Okay, like when we search something. Okay, that is that can be used as inside get method. Okay, like we search for something. Okay, okay, then get method can be used when we suppose we are submitting a form or we are doing any transaction, and then we have to use a post method. Okay, okay, then here is mention the name attribute. Okay, Here it is written the same thing which I've told you. Okay, when we'll remove the name attribute, okay, and we'll remove the name attribute from this input text input value property, okay, then we will not able to see our first name inside the action this php file, okay. See, no data is sent to the server, okay. Okay, so I've told you about all this. Now we'll come to HTML form elements, okay. Here input element is there and one is select element, okay. Suppose copy it and paste it here. This select element, okay, it is taking an id and a name, okay, and there is option, okay. This what it does is like it opens a drop down window, okay, like this. Suppose we have, we'll show it in our, save it. See, it is like a drop down box, okay. What is we have mentioned inside the option box, all the options are showing in this drop down box. Suppose we are mentioning option value equals to Volvo, okay, then we have written Volvo and then we have closed the option attribute, okay. We'll use this select element, okay. We'll give a id and we'll also give it a name, okay. So close all these tabs, okay. Suppose we want here, suppose we'll here the topmost element is shown here, okay. Here we can see the topmost element is shown here, this Volvo, okay. But we can set it manually also by, can use like we can use selected, okay. If we'll use selected in this sub, okay, we'll run it, then see our preference now has changed, okay. This sub option is selected now, okay. This is the use of this selected keyword, okay. Now we can also set the size, okay. We can also set the size. Three options are now visible, okay. We can set it to like 4 also. See, we can manually edit it, okay. If will not give, the default option is 1, okay. It don't look nice. The size 4, the size 1 is the default size, okay. Next we can add multiple attribute also, okay. See, here we can also choose. Here we haven't choose anything, so nothing is returned, okay. So when we can choose multiple items, see, here we can choose multiple items. It is done with the help of this multiple keyword, okay. It is placed inside this select element, okay. If we will not provide this multiple, we'll run it, then we can't select multiple items. Okay, if we want to select multiple items, we'll have to provide this multiple keyword. Okay, we'll have to provide like we'll have to provide this multiple keyword. Okay, see when we'll submit, all the options are coming. Then there's also a text area. Okay. The text area means like see we can also decrease it and increase it. Decrease or increase it. Okay. We can give the rows and columns. Okay. Here the 10 rows space is given and 30 columns space is given. Okay. Suppose we want like 20 columns and 5 rows. Here see the text area decreases. Okay, so we will use it by the name of text area property. Then we'll provide a name. Name is always compulsory. Okay, it is used when we submit the data. Okay, it is always used when we are submitting the data. When we build a real application, okay, real world application, we have to submit the data. We just don't have to just we are inputting the data, that's it. We have to submit it somewhere. Okay, so we have to use this name property. Okay. So we have given a rows property and a columns property. Okay. Next is button. Okay, we have discussed about button, right? When we are clicking this, see a alert page is opened. Okay, this is opened by this alert option or alert hello world. Okay, by on clicking this will be when we press run, see a alert page is opened. Okay, so we use this alert for testing. Okay, like when we want to test that our button is working or not, so we use this on click equals to alert. Okay, and some message we are inputting here. Okay, we input some message. Suppose we click. Okay, and hello world messages shown here. Okay, in this alert page. Then comes field set and legend elements. Okay, this is used inside a form. Okay, see inside a form we'll use a field set and then a legend. How does it look like? See here the entire form is uh, wrapped around this field set. Okay, and legend is its like description. Suppose okay this form description is called a legend. Okay, this the suppose we'll give it another name. Suppose personal details. Okay, suppose we'll give a personal details. Okay, so we can change this legend. Okay, so this looks nicer. Okay, so this is the use of field set and legend. Okay, we can manually edit it and write the form details. What is this form is about? Okay, and there is data list. Okay, in data list, what happens is you get like drop down box where we have like used the select an option, this option. In the same way, we will get a drop down box. Okay, drop down list. Okay, see here we will get a drop down list. Okay, so we'll use the list property in our input tag. Okay, in our input element we'll use a input list and we'll give it a name. Okay, list equals to browser and we'll give it a name for rendering it to another page when we'll click the submit button. submitting the information. We'll give it a name of that input box. Then we'll provide a data list. Okay, this is wrapped around options. Okay, we'll remove it. Suppose we'll remove it, then we'll place run C. No, then we'll remove suppose this also. Okay. Nothing happens because here we have mentioned input list equals to browsers. Okay, we have given a list. Okay, when we give an input list, we have to mention the data list here. Okay, we have to wrap the options around data list. Okay, so here it comes the options. You can select it from here. Okay, and note one thing: this data list tag is not supported in Safari before version 12.1. Okay, it is supported after version 12.1. Okay. This output element is not important. Here we have different types of input type. Here we can use it as button, checkbox, color, date, email. We have different types of input types. Okay. Suppose here it is text. We can write any text. Okay. Also, this also counts under text. Okay. Then when we use a password, see some change. You will write some username. Okay. Suppose username. It is shown here what we are writing. Okay, when we use input type equals to password, then it is not showing us what we have written. Okay, it is coming in bullets form. Okay, this is the encrypted format. That's why we are using input type equals to password. Okay, then we have input type equals to submit. That is for submitting the form. Okay, input type equals to submit. Okay, we can also suppose here the default, suppose default here is John. How it is coming? Because we have given a value equals to John. Okay, if we remove it, okay, suppose we'll remove it, then it will be empty. Either we have given the default value of this input box as John. Okay, so here it is outputting. Okay, so we can also input a reset button. Input type equals to reset. Reset means, see, here we haven't mentioned anything. Okay, if we suppose like we'll add something. Okay, then we'll reset it. It will reset it to John. If we'll not mention any value here, suppose we'll write something. It will reset. When we'll click reset, it will reset to its original state. Okay, default state. Okay, that is reset. That is why reset is used. Okay. All are input types. Okay. Here input type equals to radio. Radio button is used. Shown you. Okay. Radio buttons are used. Okay. Type equals to radio. Here input type is checkbox. Okay. See here we'll get the same. What is the difference between input? This input difference between radio button and checkbox. In input here, when we are selecting one option, other option, the this blue dot is replaced from that. We can only select one radio, one option. Okay, but in checkbox, we can choose more than one option. Okay. This is the difference between input a radio button and check boxes. Okay. If you want to select more than one option, you can use checkbox. If you want to use only one option, then you can use radio buttons. Here, input type equals to button. Okay. Anything can be, various options are present here. Okay. You can also put it as a date. Input type equals to date. See, we haven't mentioned anything. You can also select any date. Okay. Here we have mentioned a input type equals to date. So it is coming in this format. Okay. If you remove it like, if you remove it like, place a number here. A number field is coming. Okay. See, here it is not an input type equals to text. It is a number. So this option is coming. It will not come in a like text input. Okay, if we change it to text, that cursor, okay, that min max option is not present here. That is present only in number. Okay. Then we can also set the min and max values of the date. Okay, suppose we want to enter a date before 1981, first month of 1st of January of before 1980. Okay, enter a date before 1980. So we'll choose max property and we'll give the maximum value to 31 of December to 1979. Okay, so maximum value means we can't exceed this value. Okay, we have to mention the date below this date. Okay, before this date. Okay, likewise we can also set the minimum value. Okay, we have to mention this. We have to mention the date after this date. Okay, this 2000. Okay, here we have to mention the date after 1st of January 2000. Okay. So here is minimum 2nd of January 2000. Minimum and maximum value we can also set. Here one more is option is there, date time local means here you will able to give the date and time also. Okay, suppose here, see, we can also give the time, okay, along with the date. This is the use of this input type equals to date time local. We'll add a date time dash local. Okay. So we'll use this, like we can use the date format also and the time format also. Let me close all the tabs. Here is input type equals to email. In every input box, some restrictions are there. Okay, so if certain uh, for every certain, like for password, suppose we have to only mention input type equals to password, and the input, you will input some text, it will convert to bullets. The text will not be shown. Like here, when we use input type equals to email, okay, it has some certain format. Okay, email has some certain format. If we use something this like this, okay, this is not a correct email. Okay, see, when we'll use this here, the message is showing please include an at the rate in the email address. Okay, when we'll submit it, see, it is showing an error message. So every input has some certain rules and regulations. Okay, it has certain restrictions that there can in email there must be a at the rate. Okay, so we'll use when we are using the email input box, we'll have to use input type equals to email. Okay, here it is used for file browse. Okay, we'll use this for like browse choosing files locally from a computer. Suppose this we have to choose a file. Okay, so we'll give an input type equals to file. Okay, so this option will come. Suppose we can select anything here. We can select anything. Okay, any files. Okay, suppose will replace that file. Okay, if you want to choose multiple files, okay, here one option is also present there. It is not showing. Mm, it will be when we have to use. We can also select like multiple if we use here multiple option. See here we can also choose multiple items. See here we can choose three files. Okay, so with the use of multiple, we can also apply the multiple property to any input fields. Okay, this property can be used in any input fields. Okay. So we can choose more than three files or more than four files. Okay, multiple files can we can choose. But when we remove it, we can choose only files. See here, uh, earlier it was written choose files when we have given the multiple property. Okay, now when we have removed it, it is showing only choose file, which means that only one file can be chosen. Okay, suppose we want to select multiple items. See, we can't be able to select more than one item. Okay, this is the use of multiple property. Here we can also give a month type, month and year. Okay, only a month and a year, no particular date. Okay, we can also give a input type equals to number. Okay, here is we can use a number 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, here it is the minimum value is set to minimum 1 and maximum value is set to 5. We cannot exceed the value after 5. Okay, we can also not decrease the value bit from 1. Okay, so we can set the value also, we cannot set the value also. Press run. See, we can select negative value also. We can also exceed the numbers. Okay, so you have to use the requirement is what is the requirement. Okay, you have to use according to the requirement. Okay, various types are there. Input type, search, tell. Okay, here in this here the range input type is there. Okay, here we have to give the minimum and maximum range. Okay, suppose here see we can give the minimum and maximum range. Okay, if we select this and click on submit, see here we have given the value of 16. Okay, so this is the use. You can also use search input type. See, when we use input type equals to telephone, okay, TL, here some format is there of a phone number. Okay, here we'll use a like regex means regular expressions. You haven't studied yet. You have to use a pattern. Okay, some numbers have a particular pattern. Okay, Here we can include only digits from 0 to 9. Okay, it can only be 3, like suppose a pin code, suppose 123, a pin code is there. Okay, then a number, okay, from 0 to 9. Okay, 0 to 9. Then we can also only provide two numbers. Okay, then we have to give a dash. Then we can only provide three numbers. Okay, between 0 to 9. Okay, okay, this is the format. Okay, this is the format. If we suppose we click on this, here the phone number is received in a server. Okay, it is returned. Okay, the server has returned this answer. Okay, suppose we are mentioning some other number. Okay, you can see please match the required requested format. Okay, so this is the pattern. Okay, we have to input this pattern only, then this will forward the forward this input message, okay, to the server, and it will respond. The server will respond your answer. Okay, yes, notice one more property is the placeholder. Placeholder is when we see, when we remove this, see here it is written 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, this is the same number as it is. This is okay. So placeholder is like when we write something, it disappears. It is the default state. Okay, when we are writing, it is for just for like description, like this format should be used. Okay, it is it is showing here just for showing the user that this format should be used. This format is compulsory in this required field. Okay, that is why placeholders are used. We can also input time. Okay, suppose see where here we can choose the time, only time. Earlier we were choosing date and time. Okay, here we'll only choose the time. Okay, this name property and ID property is compulsory, and this when we use it as label, we'll use the for property also. And the notice here the name is apt and the for is also the apt. Okay, so the value is same for and for this for attribute for property and this name property, both values are same. Here it is the input type is URL. Okay, suppose we are giving something. Okay, see it is not a requested, it is not a correct format of URL. Okay, when we give like this, see it is not a required format of URL. Suppose we'll give https suppose something.com. Okay, then it will take as illegal input. Okay, so these are some of the input types. Input type. Okay, various input types are there. You have to study it. Okay, to practice it. Okay, slowly you will get a grasp of this. Okay, then we'll come at our input attributes. Okay, the value attributes are there. Okay, like we have mentioned earlier, this is the value. Okay, if we'll remove this, then no value of first name will be shown here. Okay, so this is the value attribute, read only attribute. In read only attribute, if we mention read only in this input type, we cannot remove it. Okay, we cannot, only we can read it, we cannot edit it. See, we cannot edit this input box. Okay, So it is only for reading. Okay, we cannot edit it. Okay, so it is used in this input box. Then there is a disabled property. Disabled means we'll not be using this. Okay, see, a light opacity is less than this input box. Okay, we cannot use this, we cannot edit this, it is disabled. Okay, this light color is showing that this input box is disabled. Okay, so we are using this disabled property. Next is the size attribute. We have discussed the size attribute, means we can use the size. Okay, if it is used for C, the size attribute works with the following input types: text, search, tell, URL, email, and password. If we set the size to that particular number, it should not exceed that particular size. Okay, here, yes, and it has max length. Okay, suppose we have given a maximum length of 4 to that pin. Okay, to the pin input type. Suppose we'll type more than 4, it will not input the text, input the number. Okay, because here the maximum length is 4. Okay, and if we remove this size equals to 4, see what happened is like, see, when we refresh it, you can see when we remove the size, this width, see this width. Okay, and I will remove this size equals to 4. Okay, when we remove this size equals to 4, see the width changes of this input box. Okay, just a minute. See the width changes. This means that here the size we are taking it, uh, it is telling us that it sets the width of that particular, it sets the number of characters. Here see max length attributes, when we'll see the uh, this size attribute. Okay, here it is written the input size attribute specifies the visible width in characters of an input field. Okay, this this width is this size. Okay, if we increase it, suppose we will give the size to 10. Okay, see it is 10 uh, digits, 10 characters wide. Okay, the pin input box is 10 characters wide. Okay, that is the size property here. Okay, max length is different thing and the size is here different thing. Okay, here we can set the value to min and max. Okay, we have discussed it. You can set the value, minimum value and maximum value. Okay, we have also discussed about multiple, like here we can choose multiple files. Here see, it is not written choose file, it is written choose files, means we can choose multiple files. If we'll remove this property, see there, here the text changes to choose file. See, okay, so this is the difference of that multiple property. Here pattern, here we have told you that this pattern is like regular expressions regex. Okay, we have to set that input pattern. Okay, here if we type, suppose we type number. Okay, see, please match the requested format. Here the pattern is only we can mention the capital A to Z and small a to Z, no numbers and no special characters. Okay, we can only type uh, capital A to Z or small a to Z, and here in curly braces the number of numbers is the number of characters we can mention. Okay, here only 3 digits we can only type. Okay, if we type this, See, please match the requested format. Okay. If we write only 3 digits, then it will process the request. Okay. So the use of pattern is when we have to select a particular pattern, we will set some pattern. Okay. With the help of this pattern property. We have discussed about placeholder. Placeholder is this thing, this light color thing. Okay. This is the we are showing that we have to enter the telephone number in this format. Okay. Placeholder equals to use placeholder equals to and then this what we have to write we'll mention it here. Okay. When we write something that thing disappears. Okay. This is used for just a description that we have to write the phone number in this format. Okay. Or anything we can write. Okay. Suppose enter email. Okay. So we can place that. Suppose we want to write here email. Okay. Enter, enter an email. Okay. So we can give xyz at gmail.com. Okay. See, here the placeholder changes. So this is the placeholder. Gives description about that input box. Required attribute. Required attribute is like we have to compulsorily fill this input box. Okay. If we don't fill the input box, it will show us the error. See, please fill out this field. It means that this input box is compulsory. In other cases, like when we'll submit, see, we are not providing any information, hence the process uh, moves on. Okay, but in this case, here when we click submit button, we'll not able to process further. Okay, because here the required property is used. Okay, so it is compulsory to fill. This input box is compulsory to fill. Okay. Step attribute means when we are using the number in the input box, the step means like when we are using the count, we have taken the step to 3. Okay, so like 3 will start with 3 and then it will go on to stepping the 3 digits. Okay, if we suppose step it to 2. Okay, we'll refresh it and then it will start with 2, then it will go on stepping the two numbers. Okay, if we'll remove this, default is 1. Okay, start with 1. Okay, so if we want to step some numbers, okay, we can give this property, step property. Here is autofocus. Okay, suppose we want to focus on a particular input box. Okay, so we can do with this. Okay, this autofocus property we can mention. Suppose we are providing this autofocus here. So the default autofocus will be present in this. Okay, you can mention it in any input box. Okay, you can mention it here. You can mention it here. Okay. You can mention it at any input box. Okay. It focuses when we click on a particular input box. It focuses that input box. Okay. There's the height and width attribute. Okay, like when we use the input type of image, we have to give the this height and image. Okay, so it is compulsory. It is used generally for this width and height attribute is generally used for input type of image. Okay, when we are using the images. Okay, if we'll click this, it is like a button. Okay, So when we click it, the further process is done. Okay. So when we are using the input type equals to image, we have to use this width and height property. If we will not use it, the default width and height, it will take the default width and height. It is only the default width and height. Okay, so there is no changes there. The list attribute we have covered it. The input list equals to browsers, then the mention the data list. This one will open a drop down box. Okay, this list. Okay, this list. We give it an input list, and then we'll cover the in options inside the data list. Okay. Complete. Not important. This and the day off. Okay. So let me just clear all the tabs. So now we'll come on HTML input form attributes. Here we have form attributes. Okay, this form attributes. Okay, we have also a form action attribute. Okay, this form action attributes overrides this form attribute. Okay, suppose we are providing form action equals to action page 2.php. Okay, suppose we want same information to be sent to uh, two two different places. Okay, suppose see, first name, suppose I am given something, last name. Okay, so here we have given a different path, and here we have given a different path. So when we click this submit button, it will go on to that this particular action page.php. Okay, this page. Okay, when we click on submit as admin, we'll go to this action page 2.php. Okay, so this information is when we'll fill this information and click onto this buttons, it will go on two different paths. Okay, suppose we'll click on this, then it will go to action page.php. If we'll click this submit as admin, it will go to action page.php. One more is there for ENC type. It specifies how the form data should be encoded. Okay, but it is only applicable for method post method. Okay, it is only applicable for post method. It is not applicable for get method. Okay, suppose here we'll like suppose we'll write anything. Okay, we'll submit it. Okay, see, it is not a part of the to teach how the server is processing this input. Okay, if name equals to app get got this information. Okay, but when we submit as multi-part form data, see, it is encoded. Okay, this input value is encoded. Okay, so we are getting this long code something. I can also not understand this. Okay, so when we want to send the input to a particular server in an encoded format, so we'll use this form enc type equals to multi-part slash and the form data. Okay, then comes form method attribute. Okay, suppose we want to send a particular form to using the get method also and using the post method also, so we can use both. See, here we can use submit using get and submit using post. Here we can use like both are will submit the inputs, will submit the inputs, one by get method and one by post method. Notice one thing, we are sending to the same path. Okay, when using get method or when using post method. Okay, when the method is different, we can use the same path. Okay, but if we are using only the same method, okay, then the form action should be different. Means the path should be different. Okay, when the method changes, it can be the same page, but when we are sending same information using get method, we have to send it to two different paths. Okay, suppose like if we are, will change it to get. Okay, submit using get. Okay, we'll do this. Okay, we have to mention the form action here. We can't send two get methods onto the same path. Okay, when we are using here post, then we can send this, okay, same input as get method also, using get method also, and using post method also. We can send onto the same path. Okay, but the method is different. Here is form target. Okay, I've told you this again and again, like when we input this. Okay, suppose we input this, the default is the self, means it will open in this same frame. Okay, see. Okay, when we give it as the target as blank. Okay, suppose we give some first name and some last name. What it does, it will open it in a new window. See. Okay, so what this target equals to blank property does, it opens the uh, server information, like the result, to a new page. Okay, new window. Form no validate means here we are using form no validate equals to form no validate. That means here no validation is required when we submit it with this button. Okay, yeah, sorry, validation will be required when we submit it with this button. Okay, because email has certain rules and regulations, email format has certain rules and regulations. Suppose I'll give it as a certain this text. Okay, we submit it, it will show us a error, please include an @ in the email address. But when we use this form no validate equals to form no validate, okay, that is this button. When we process the method with this button, no validation will be required. Okay, see, no validation will be required. So it don't check the like it don't check the validation. Okay, what is the like means what is the format of that particular input box. Okay, it don't check the validation. It only submits the input box. Okay, input box values. Okay, so we have to use form no validate equals to form no validate. And we can also use no validate in form. Okay, like that errors like this. So when we write this, suppose we are writing any email. Okay, so here we have given no validate onto this particular form. Okay, so no validation will be done here. Okay, we can submit it. Okay, and the server returned the result. Okay, so we are giving it inside the form. Okay, so no validation will be done. Okay, that's all for today. Okay, I'll repeat that you have to practice more and more. Okay, you have to practice this forms. Okay, you have to practice this whole where what you have studied, you have to practice this whole. Okay, you just have to practice and practice and practice. Okay, so we have completed the HTML forms lecture. Okay, this we have covered this 5 topics today, so you have to practice it. Okay, so that's all for today. Okay.